Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Hope you're all fitting well. I need to start by reminding you, this is the last show until Tuesday, the 1st of October. No shows next week. I'm going to Las Vegas, as you all know, for the MinExpo show, and there will be a massive time difference. So, just to be clear, if you send me WhatsApp messages asking if there's a show today, the chances are you'll wake me up. I'm a man who quite clearly needs his beauty sleep, so please don't do that. There is no shows next week at all. At all. I'm jumping on the plane on Sunday and won't be back until the following Monday. So the show restarts on the Tuesday. Please bear that in mind. Second thing on today's agenda is that our petition calling for the public inquiry into the Didcot investigation has actually been taken down. Been taken down at the request of someone who is apparently a member of one of the four families, obviously the bereaved families. I've got no further information, but the petition has vanished and I no longer have access to it. I received a message this morning from change.org who said they'd had this request and they had abided by it, and therefore it's gone. Listen, I'm more than happy to oblige. I don't want to step on anyone's toes, certainly, particularly those for a grieving family. And also, if you were here yesterday, you will know that the families are attending an update meeting next month. So maybe that's got something to do with it as well. Don't know the circumstances, but that's where we are. All I would say in conclusion to all of that is that Thames Valley Police were unquestionably aware of the strength of feeling. So while we didn't necessarily get our public inquiry, we did let them know just how angry we are. And finally, obviously, the elephant in the room, I guess, the collapse of ISG, the UK's sixth largest construction contractor. Got to be honest here, I'm astounded they lasted as long as they did. When Carillion collapsed back in 2018, I was told by an industry insider that ISG would be next. Not only did it appear to have been wavering for some time, they had quite the reputation for subby bashing as well. In fact, it appears that many subcontractors this time were strung along for months, weeks and months prior to the collapse, with promises of a rescue plan that failed to materialise. According to Building Magazine this morning, ISG employed as many as 3,000 people, and initial estimates suggest that the company owed more than 150 million to subcontractors. My guess is that's going to go up over the next couple of days and weeks. This one is going to hit the industry hard at a time when it is already in a weakened state. So, yeah, very, very bad news. Bad news for everybody involved in ISG, but everybody that's well, basically within the construction industry, because this is one that will echo far and wide. We're going to be talking about payments, late payments and non-payments at the end of the show, so please stick around for that if you have the time and the inclination. But without further ado, I'm going to roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show on the road like this. It is Friday, final Friday the 20th of September. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, the Walrus of Demolition. In today's show, XCMG has added another new excavator to its range, and we have the footage. French Demolition adds a little je ne sais quoi, and then we're getting in the mining mood. We're mining in Mohawk Valley in America, and we're also going to be discovering how Caterpillar does mining better. And ahead of my trip to MinExpo 2024, we're going to be looking back at MinExpo 2021, when the machines were big and when masks were all still the rage. Plus, in my morning monologue today, I'm going to be delving into the ludicrous, as the government proposes awarding medal status to contractors that pay their bills on time. Yeah, really. So, before we get to all of that, we do have a small matter of today's mystery machine to attend to. So, let me play the right animation, and we will do that forthwith. do want to quickly address something over on Instagram. We had a message from Said DiCaprio. Hello, how are you? I'm a digger driver and I'm looking for a job. I have experience. Said, this is what I do for a living. I don't employ digger drivers. I do this. So good luck with finding a job, but you're barking up the wrong tree. I will be of no help to you whatsoever. So Mystery Machine. Let me show you what our Mystery Machine is today. It looks like that. Now, I had a message from Dan Cullen earlier to say that he was dealing with a quantity of concrete this morning, so he won't be about. That being said, it doesn't really matter because he won this month and he's very kindly donated his prize to Mr. Jim Turner. I'm going to bag up his prize a little bit later this morning and I will be taking it to the post office myself. So even though I'll be away, prize should still make it. But that's what you're working with today. If anybody's got any clues on that, I would love to get your take on it. Now, I know I've forgotten to do a thing, and that was to post the question of the day. So I will post it in the chat as a reminder, but I'm now going to take that away, and I'm going to go over to here, and I'm going to play you the question of the day as well. Yeah, now I'm a little concerned because yesterday the messages weren't coming through to begin with, and now they seem to have stopped. So if somebody can send me a message to let me know you can all still hear me, that would be great. Yes, quote. Our question of the day comes from our resident quizmaster, Gary Muirhead. His question is this: what is your favourite quote or quotation? I can tell you my least favourite is "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears," because, well, as my name is Mark Anthony, and given that he was a vindictive old sod, my history teacher would have me recite that whenever he caught me talking in class, which, as you can probably tell, I used to talk quite a bit. Still talk quite a bit. But I do have two personal favourites, both from former punk singer and now author, Mr. Henry Rollins. The first one, sadly, I can't live up to. Henry Rollins, who, if anybody knows, Henry Rollins is built like the proverbial brick outhouse, says, or he said to somebody once, "I am unnervingly polite, but I'm also capably violent." Imagine having the presence to back that up. But the older I get, the more this second one resonates. This is another Henry Rollins. He said, "It's sad when someone you know becomes someone you knew." What about you? Love to hear from you. Mystery Machine, we've had our first guest, so apparently the chat is working. Gary Muirhead reckons it could be a Komatsu 980E. It is not. It is not one of those. Let me show you a bit more. Yes, it has a full complement of wheels. I'm not sure if that's going to help you at all, but that is what you're working with. I will take that away because we do need to crack on because we've got lots to get through today. So let me play you this. Yeah, XCMG. I'm planning to see XCMG over at MinExpo. I'm not entirely sure what products they're going to have on display. Maybe this will be one of them because they've got a brand new excavator, quite a big one too. And it looks like this. Looks pretty smart to me. Speaking of quotes, Chris Ford, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. Oh, that's a corker. I particularly like this one from Josh Allen. Morning, Josh. Says, I stopped believing in God when I realised it was just dog backwards. That sounds familiar, but I don't know why. Where does that come from, Josh? Love to hear from you on that. Going back to our mystery machine, which looks like this. We've had another guest. I know Gary was thinking Komatsu. He's now thinking Sani SRT 95C. It's not one of those either. Here is a smidgen more. Doesn't really help at all. Keep the guesses coming in. Keep the guesses coming in. While you're doing that, I'm going to play you this. We're going to be back with some Legrand Demolition.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
We're going a bit mining mad towards the end of the show. In fact, we've got 3 back-to-back videos that are all mining based, obviously, because I'm going to MinExpo. But before we go down mining way, we're going to go demolition way. And we're doing so over in France with the mighty Cardem. Now, apparently there is an echo in here because at 10 past 10, Gary Muirhead guessed that our mystery machine, which looks like that, was a Sani SRT 95C. 3 minutes later, Chris Ford came up with exactly the same answer. In neither occasion is that correct. I will show you a bit more, but I can tell you that Mr. Muirhead is on the right track. He's gone for an XCMG XDR 400. It's not one of those. But you're in the right ballpark, Gary. You're in the right ballpark. Keep those guesses coming in. Now, I promised we were going mining. We're going to do that in just a moment. First off, I think it's John Deere. Be back after this. Yeah, first off, we're going over to the superbly named Mohawk Valley. I'd like to go there, not necessarily for the mining, just like to go somewhere called Mohawk Valley. Take a look.
We moved into this property in May of 2022, so we've been here just over 2 years now. Production didn't start until September of 2022.
We mine lime rock here. We run it through a crusher, a screener. We make various different products, anything from a road base for Florida to Alabama to a 57 stone, a 1 to 3 inch rock clean, a riprap, you name it, we try to make it.
We got 870Ps, 470P, 460 haul trucks. Love John Deere and love Beard Equipment.
The reason why there's so much John Deere equipment here is because they became a partner for us. They weren't just someone that we called when we needed something. They were there every step of the way when it came to securing equipment that we needed right now, securing equipment we were going to need in the future, maintenance, service, all that stuff is so important. I grew up in the construction industry, excavators, loaders, crushing equipment. I understand how all that works, but then applying it to this operation was brand new. So where John Deere and Working Group come into play with that is they send their experts out here. And I learn a lot from those experts. For what we were using at one point, a John Deere 470 was our best machine. And I might think, oh, we need another one to increase production. And then you talk to the experts and they say, well, instead of going with two 470s, what if you looked at a John Deere 870? And then they explain the pros and the cons of why moving up to a higher class machine makes more sense. The second that we brought our first 870P here, we were producing about 60,000 tons a month comfortably. And just by adding that one excavator, we almost doubled production. Then we could dig enough material, but we couldn't truck enough material up. So then we got into the trucks. And when we looked at the 460 trucks, we're able to bring an extra almost 12 tons per load compared to similar trucks in the same class.
I love Operations Center as part of my daily routine. I use it to see how many hours put on the machines.
Operations Center allows me to key in on any piece of equipment that I have that I'm tracking. It allows me to see where that equipment is, to see uptime as far as how many hours it's run during the day, how many hours it's idled, fuel usage. There's a lot of data in there. We purchased John Deere Protect to help us track our maintenance on our equipment. We communicate with Beard Equipment, our local John Deere rep. They send a service out very quickly. My saying's always been, equipment's going to break down, but how quickly can you get me back up? So service, reliability is great. With John Deere, the maintenance protection plan is perfect.
John Deere Protect is the most important thing for resale value, for longevity of the machine. And I stress it to every customer that it's the most important thing to consider. Let us do their maintenance, and we do the majority of my customers. I love John Deere Finance. I have a power plant account. They offer great rates. They offer good service. You can talk to a real human being, and it makes a tremendous difference to have Deere Credit to help us get things done every day.
We take pride in creating an enjoyable work environment. We don't want to put them in equipment that the AC doesn't work, the machine's down every other day. Guys want to come to work and get work done. So investing in newer equipment, keeping the equipment serviced and working well is really important because, if you don't have someone to run your machine, you're no good. And so by having the right machine work for us and having that employee feel comfortable in the machine is really important.
Superb operation, and using American equipment. And we're sticking with American equipment just, immediately after this, actually.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
Yeah, from one big American brand to the other one, the biggest of the lot, Caterpillar. And this is how Caterpillar is making mining better.
The business of mining never stops changing, so you never stop searching for new ways to mine better. And Caterpillar is here to help, working alongside you to navigate these changes. First, by building the reliable, long-lasting mining machines and systems you require. And by providing the industry's most comprehensive and innovative suite of mining technologies and autonomy solutions, all proven and all at work today at mines like your own. We help ensure you get the maximum value from your equipment investment by fully supporting individual machines and complete mining operations, leveraging machine data and dealer services, and delivering innovative improvements in maintenance and support. As a partner in your performance, we share our knowledge and expertise, working with you to help address your biggest challenges and seize your greatest opportunities. We help you balance responsibility and profitability as you pursue energy and climate-related objectives, advancing your commitment to safe and sustainable operations by reducing the impact our machines have on the environment and finding new ways to ensure your people get home safely every day. As a true business partner, our goal is to bring together the right people, products, technologies, and services to help you optimize your equipment, your people, and your overall mining operation. No matter its size, type, or location in the world. Together, with you, we are mining smarter. We are solving problems. We are building solutions. Together with you, we are discovering what is possible. Together, we are mining better.
Yeah, very smart from Caterpillar. Not sure if we've got a problem with our chat today because it's gone very, very, very quiet again. I can tell you, Josh Hallam came up with a quote for today, which was, I stopped believing in God when I realised it was just dog backwards. I thought it sounded familiar, and he gave me a clue, which was this. Another quote from the franchise is a wobber bob bob, which is a dead giveaway. Those of you that know, it's from the In-Betweeners. Yes, it does look like the chat has gone awry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play our final film of the day, and I'm going to refresh this in the background. Hopefully the show will continue in the background. So I'm going to do that because I do want to shake loose the final few comments. So I'll play this first, and then I'll play the final film and see if I can hit the thing with a spanner behind the scenes.
Hi, I'm Holly. Join Mark Anthony on The Breakfast Show. We are Ovenden.
Okay, so this is where our mystery machine stands. As far as I know, somebody may have got this because I can't see any chat coming through at all. But that is what you're working with at the moment. There's a little bit more, and I tell you what, there is a little bit more. I'm going to play the final film, and I'm going to hit the refresh button. Hopefully the film will continue, and hopefully you can still hear me, and hopefully by the time you come back, the chat will have arrived. So, as you know, next week, well, this time... in 4 days, I will actually be in Las Vegas for the MinExpo 2024. MinExpo 2021 was a very different affair because it was still mid-COVID. So it took place, but there were lots of masks on display. But the show looked like this. Ooh, it looks like the chat is kind of back. I'm not entirely convinced, but I can tell you we've had a guess here from Chris Ford, which was the XCMG XDE 240. It is not one of those. He's also gone for the XDM 100. I think you're one model out, Chris. Because I can't be sure that the chat is working properly, and also because, frankly, today's Mystery Machine is meaningless because we've already got a winner for this month, which was Dan Cullen. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. It is, in fact, the XCMG XMD 90 is what that is. Don't know what's going on with the chat. Maybe it is fixed, but we had a gap, which never happens. We had a comment from Gary Muirhead at 10:16, and then we didn't get another one until 10:26. Now, I know Steve Williamson, Ken Hatcher, and Dan Cullen are all missing, all of whom are very active in the chat, so maybe that's something to do with it. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going right, to be honest. Now, very quick reminder, I'm not here next week. I'm going to roll. With that being in mind, I'm away for 10 days, so not here until Tuesday, the 1st of October. Now you've been reminded of that. I'm going to roll the end of show stinger just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into my morning monologue. If you can't stick around for that, then do please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. And I hope to see you again in about 10 days' time. But if you do have the time... Let me try that again. If you do have the time and the inclination, I will be back with my morning monologue immediately after this. Earlier in the week, I was very angry about the lack of progress over the Didcot investigation. Yesterday, I was angry again, only this time it was the protracted investigation into Redcar that was the target of my rage. So I figured, what the hell, you're already angry, you may as well stick with it and see the week out. So that's what I plan to do. The subject of my anger this time will become clear as we go along. So let me start by giving you the basic facts. This autumn, the Labour government is planning to launch a new fair payment code that will replace the old prompt payment code that was about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer is apparently taking a personal interest in this because he says, "We're determined to back small businesses by unlocking their barriers to growth, and stamping out late payments is at the heart of this. We know how important it is for business owners to have the peace of mind and certainly around their cash flow to keep their businesses alive. Late payments cost businesses tens of thousands of pounds and is one of the biggest reasons businesses collapse. After years of delay, we're bringing forward measures that small businesses have long been calling for to tackle late payments once and for all." I realise my Keir Starmer impression needs some work, but all of that being said, that sounds great, right? Who wouldn't want to be paid more quickly? So what are these measures of which he speaks? Are they going to name and shame tardy payers? Are they going to block late-paying companies from government tender lists? Will there be public lynchings? No. It's none of these things. Instead, companies will be encouraged to pay faster and more often by being awarded gold, silver, or bronze medal status. Companies paying 95% of their suppliers within 30 days will be granted gold medal status. Companies paying 95% of their small business suppliers within 30 days and all other suppliers within 60 days will be given silver medal status. And those companies paying 95% of suppliers within 60 days will be given bronze medal status. Yes, you did hear that right. We're going to grant medal status to companies for doing what they're already obliged to do, both legally and morally. Have you ever heard such bullshit in all your life? Now, a couple of things. I guess if you're made aware that you're about to work for a gold medal standard settler of bills, that will offer you a degree of reassurance. If you're a small business, the unspoken promise of getting paid within 30 days might be enough to make you consider working for a silver medal firm. Hell, even a bronze medal status company looks like they might pay their bills within a couple of months. But what about the rest? What about those companies that aren't within the scheme? For every gold medal company, there are dozens and possibly hundreds that pay up only when a court order insists that they do so. Itchy nose. Companies that will use all means at their disposal, fair and foul, to ensure that they only pay the barest minimum and as and when they're ready to do so. And let's not forget, we've been here before. A few years ago, Build UK instigated their own fair payment scheme, and they badgered and cajoled all their member companies to sign up to a faster payment pledge. A year later, Build UK went back to see just how many of their members had abided by that pledge. The answer? None. Not one. And that, sadly, is indicative of the wider malaise when it comes to late payment. Companies will look you in the eye and assure you they'll assure you you'll be paid on time and in full. They'll tell their trade association precisely the same thing. If Sir Keir Starmer were to visit a UK demolition or construction site, I'm sure they could, with a straight face, reassure him that one of their greatest pleasures in life is paying their bills. The fact is, large parts of the demolition and construction business is built upon false promises and deceit. Before a contract begins, you're told you have 4 weeks to complete the work. But as soon as the contract begins, you're being chased to complete it in 2. You're told there'll be stage payments, but some of those stages aren't forthcoming, as the client suddenly decides to pay upon completion instead. And then when completion does come around, they'll play the retention card, and they'll still hold on to some of your money. Every time there's a recession or a downturn in work, those at the top of the construction tree push out their payment terms just a bit further. 30 days becomes 60, 60 becomes 90, 90 becomes, well, when we feel like it. And then they boast about it to their shareholders. So where does all that leave us? It leaves us with good, honest companies like Redhead Demolitions going under because someone higher up the supply chain didn't pay them and then went pop. It leaves us with ISG becoming the latest major contractor to join Carillion in the industry Deadpool and potentially taking many more with it. But hey, look on the bright side. It leaves us with a scheme in which companies get to wear a shiny gold medal if they actually settle their bills on time. I'm certain that will reassure the entire industry. Now, a couple of very quick points on all of that. First of all, bearing in mind he is the Prime Minister, couldn't Keir Starmer have just saved himself and the industry a whole lot of time and hassle by just instigating a mandatory 30 days payment regulation? Because we're not just talking about payment here. 30-day payments are not just equitable and fair. They're a signal. If you've read the press last night and today on the collapse of ISG, all of the coverage makes reference to subbies being strung along by talk of a financial rescue. If 30-day payments were mandatory and backed by legislation, those subbies could have been saved thousands, if not millions of pounds. They would have known within a month or so that all was not well at ISG. Now, of course, some companies might still take the chance and continue to do business with a company that was clearly struggling to pay its bills, but at least that would have been an informed decision. Instead, we once again find ourselves looking at hundreds of millions in supply chain losses. There's my thought for the day. Now, the chat does seem to be kind of working. Chris Hall says, we'll watch you flying over, flight radar permitting. Chris, I'll be sure to give you a wave. I'm not sure you'll spot it, but I'll do my best. Let's have a look. Question of the day, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. That's a pretty good quote. And Gary Muirhead, you know all about late payments, Mark. Remember Finley Group and the non-payment? Yes, I do. I was forced, unfortunately, to go public with it. Didn't sit well. Me and the Finley Group are still not on speaking terms. But why should I? Why should I? You know, when you've been waiting for, I think it was about 9 months in the end before I finally got paid. And we were talking about £1,000 or thereabouts. Wasn't huge money. And they sat on it and sat on it and sat on it. And then it was only when I actually went public on this show that they decided, yeah, we better shut this guy up because he's got a big gob. Shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be like that. And, you know, I do wonder about the wider issue within construction and demolition. You know, I was raised on the basis, and this was my father speaking, my father, who had a mortgage for about 6 years, but never borrowed money. he got a mortgage and was determined to pay it off as quickly as he could because he hated the idea of owing anyone money. Every car he ever owned was bought outright. Every TV, we never rented a TV or rented a washing machine or rented a video recorder. Everything was bought and paid for. Now, I realise, we live in a different time, and, I realise my father was very old-fashioned. But if you are a major contractor like an ISG and you're looking at doing a £100 million project and you know full well that you don't have the financial resources to see that through, don't. Or don't be allowed to see that through. Don't go to your supply chain and say, yes, we have a Texan billionaire who's about to throw a huge wad of cash at us. That will sort us out good and proper. And when that arrives, we'll be throwing money around like it were confetti. If we had a mandatory 30-day payment, or even 45, but 30 would be better, mandatory 30-day and backed by legislation, if you get to 30 days and you've not been paid, you report it. And if you've not been paid by 45 days, winding up order. Because then we wouldn't have, as we've got with ISG, I mean, initial estimates suggest that ISG has gone down owing its supply chain or its subcontractor supply chain 150 million quid. That is going to potentially kill some companies just because ISG played fast and loose with the rules. Ken Hatcher has just joined us from Turkey. Ken Hatcher is over on Instagram and he's in Turkey. And when he says from Turkey, I'm assuming that doesn't mean he's sat down eating turkey. I'm sure that means he's in Turkey. I know he's in Turkey because he sent me a message the other day. Morning, Ken. How is Turkey? Whereabouts are you? I've only ever been to Istanbul and Bodrum. I don't know Turkey particularly well, but I've been to both of those places. Didn't like Bodrum. Had a lovely time in Istanbul. So yes, there we are. That pretty much wraps the show and wraps, well, everything really. Because just to remind everyone, now that Ken Hatcher is here, this is and was the last show for 10 days. I've got some packing to do today and tomorrow, dogs to kennels tomorrow, and then on Sunday morning, myself, my wife, my son, and my daughter are heading off in a taxi to, I think it's Gatwick. I'm not entirely sure. I've not had a great deal to do with that part of it. I'm heading off to Gatwick to jump on the big metal bird to head for Las Vegas. We're due to arrive, I think, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've got about a day and a half to acclimatise and hopefully shake off any jet lag. And then it's off to work. So first thing on Tuesday morning, Vegas time, I will be at the Las Vegas Convention Center, cameras in hand. We had a count up yesterday. This is what is known as overkill. Okay, so we're actually at the show for 3 days. And between myself and Fred, we're taking 8 cameras. I wouldn't mind, but you have to carry them. That's a lot of cameras to be calling about the place. Gary Muhez says, have a fantastic time in Las Vegas. Safe travels and see you when you get back, my friend. Yes, I look forward to it. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it so much, I'm not even going to drag the show out any further. I'm going to go and start my packing now. Excuse me. So, final time. No shows next week. I'll be back on Tuesday, the 1st of October, and I shall be regaling you with tales of Sin City and mining machines and whatever the things that I've captured with 8 cameras. Question of the day, Chris Ford. My enemy's enemy is my friend. Yeah, I'm kind of with that. The problem with that is I have a lot of enemies, and we don't always share enemies. I'll leave you to fathom that one out. Everybody, please do me a favour, do you a favour. Please look after yourselves. Don't do anything rash or crazy while I'm away. I will see you when I get back. Jim Turner says, safe trip to you and the family. God bless. Thank you very much indeed, Jim. I will be bagging up your prize. Sort of your prize, Dan Cullen's prize, but it's coming to you. I've now got your address. I'll be bagging that up at some point today, getting it to the post office, hopefully this afternoon, so that will arrive. Even though I won't be here I'll be here in spirit when your prize arrives, so look out for that. I'll see you all in 10 days, people. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. See you all very, very soon. All the best.